from high atop the mountains in the Mojave Desert. Welcome back to our channel, my dear family and friends. We're back for another hopefully entertaining evening of interest in the movement of consciousness, really in the development of ideas and the way things are flowing, and it's amazing. I mean that much I can tell you. It's all amazing. Let me get the chats here. Okay, we got the chats. Let me make sure my mic is on. Nope, I didn't even plug it in. Okay, so that's something that needs to be addressed. Let's just plug this guy in and this guy. Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, I'm not feeling like a really clear thing, except that my hair is weird, but a really clear mandate on what tonight's video should be about. So maybe you guys will help me out. Okay, let's get the chats are on. I'm doing it late again, as we've been doing the last couple of days. Hopefully, we'll get more regularity and clarity in the posts, so that we won't be starting at odd times. We're coming. Hey, Ian Bell. We're coming into an incredible year. That much I can tell you. Hit the like button. Thanks, Wade. Oh, and I'm not a doctor, right, Wade? I keep forgetting. or an investment advisor. But yeah, everything seems to be flowing pretty. Ease our minds. Yeah, it's just the thing is, besides my hair, the thing is that it's all how you take it. The thing that really captured my imagination the most. Let's see if I can find this post. I did it. I put it up fairly recently. It was. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. This I think this is an amazing post. Just called my dad. He had no idea about the Somali fraud. Zero. He said he couldn't believe he hadn't heard about it on the news and it wasn't a bigger story. So many people haven't woken up to the truth yet, including my dad, who I love dearly. What do you think? What you think should make the news doesn't make the news. I, like my dad, thought the news was just whatever story is the biggest. If it's big enough deal, surely the news will cover it. I was wrong. The news isn't a mirror of reality's biggest stories, it's a filter. My dad, like so many people I know, is just living a normal life, trusting that if something is truly important, someone will tell him. And that's the trap. They don't need to convince you of a lie. They just need to make sure you never hear the truth. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. It changes everything. Let me say that again. They don't need to convince you of a lie. They just need to make sure you never hear the truth. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. It changes everything. It's just so true. It whatever we're exposed to. So if you're not, like most of us, really inclined to look beyond the simple productions, to look beyond, to run down rabbit holes. If you're not willing to do that, if you're not used to doing that, you'll just never hear the truth. Brian, best coffee. Brian, I don't know if you're out there, but thanks for Brian keeps sending me coffee. He's just like the sweetest dude in the world. Um, yeah, hey, once you see the other side of the veil, you can't unsee it. Right. Once you see it, but if you don't see it, it's the where do you look? So there was another post. Let's see if I can find this other post that I thought was pretty interesting, related to this idea, which was that see if I can find it. Not here. It really not possible to point this out loudly enough. When the media is behind your movement, you aren't the resistance, right? This uh, Nick is a great hero. Okay, so we'll come back to that. If you're not on X, you literally have no idea what's happening in this country, and that's the scary point. Control education, control their minds. Control healthcare, control their bodies. Control the media, control their thoughts. Control the votes, control their lives. Those we can't control, we must destroy. All roads lead back to Obama. How can you tell the truth is being told when Facebook blocks it, Twitter deletes it, Google hides it, YouTube bans it, the government forbids it, and media brands it as conspiracy theory? The sleeping giant is awakening. Okay, this is a slightly different way of looking at it. Oh, here's the post I wanted to share. How do you tell 340 million brainwashed Americans that they are slaves and everything they've ever been told is a lie? How do you show them that government, media, academia, pharma, entertainment, etc., have all been compromised? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So that's kind of hopeful. That's saying that they can digest this information. It's just they don't have the opportunity. But as it comes along, as it comes into their attention, they will, just like we had to do it. We but we knew all along that something was rotten there. That there was, we could smell it. We were just like, there's something completely wrong with the information. Now these people don't get it. They don't want to get it, but I think they're getting it. I think they will get it. I don't think they're going to be able to escape it. We are the news. Yeah. Once you see the other side, I think so. I think we are the news, and we just have to keep banging on the door until they let us in. I don't know. It's a weird thing. So let me show you that other post because I thought that was important too. Right, one bite at a time. How do you eat? The sleeping giant is awakening. Here's a slightly more positive way of looking at it. From the early grid workers to the late bloomers pretending not to see, it's too late to stay asleep. The field is lit. The illusion is at the boiling point, not cracking, collapsing. The veil is not thinning, it's gone. The emperor has no clothes, and everyone can feel it even if they can't explain it. This isn't a political revolution or a media expose. This is a frequency rupture in the timeline, a truth so loud it's ringing in your bones. Some of us have been holding this light for decades, others are now stepping into it. Even while gripping onto old scripts and expired identities, it doesn't matter. The game board has changed. No amount of programming, no amount of projecting, no amount of gaslighting can suppress a consciousness field that has suppressed that has surpassed its captors. The reset has already occurred, and those who once ruled the grid are watching it vanish beneath them. Now, the true architects of reality return to their rightful post. You, me, us. We are not the resistance. We are the reintegration of cosmic memory. We don't fight the old world, we out frequency it. We don't rage at the dark. We stand so fully lit in the shadows. We stand so fully lit that shadows dissipate on sight. Welcome to the new Earth operating system, sovereign, game on. I love that. breaking right. 107 is saying that Iran is falling. That's it's really amazing. It's amazing what's going on right now. This is we are leading the frequency, this frequency transformation. It may not be conscious yet in most of the population, certainly in the United States, but it is nevertheless happening, and nothing can stop it. It's just like truth cannot be stopped. It's frustrating for us because we're a little bit ahead of the curve, but it can't be stopped. Okay, so anyway, I don't know. I just saw a lot of things about media tonight. It's a strange movement in our government. Perhaps they need an enema. Right. Yeah, I think a lot more things are happening than we realize. My nephew was doing a cattle drive from Trace Alamos to the Bureau of Land Management. They run a chuck wagon team, and I think stay near Baghdad, Arizona. Yeah, that's not far from me. There's a copper mine in Baghdad. It's just down the road from me. Just down the road a piece. It's a good hour down the road, and then like a half hour on some back roads. But it is an astonishing place because they're just like they're all these RVs like all over the place. You could tell that this is kind of an older settlement. There a lot of the RVs have kind of like been abandoned, but it's still, I don't know. I haven't really been there. I haven't really explored there. I'd like to know more about the mining. Could you grow your own vegetables up there? Yes, and we do. We have grown. We grew tomatoes, squash, garlic, a little bit of ginger, but we're still exploring. But I really want to focus primarily in the beginning, at least, on fruit trees and other trees. I want to really start growing a bunch of trees up here. But yeah, I have my garden patch up here. I have a garden patch in my previous place, and Prescott. Yeah, growing your yeah, Prescott is an amazing town, not far from me. Yeah, it's actually Baghdad is on the way to Prescott. It's about 2.5 hours to Prescott and Brian's cool cafe. But we don't go to Prescott that often. We do go once in a while. I forget the last we had some kind of medical thing we went to Prescott for. But why did the truck get taken away? Because I they never sent me a bill for the payments. They didn't have my address because I don't have an address. So I never got the bill and I never paid it. And so eventually I was thinking, well, maybe maybe this is part of the of Jasara, that they're just not going to charge me for the payments. I put a sizable down payment on the Jeep, but then I never heard from them. So I just figured, hey man, I'm not going to chase them down. And then yesterday they while we were in Walmart, we went in for like 5-10 minutes. We came out, the truck was gone. But this morning we went and to get our stuff from the truck, and I didn't know what to expect. Having spent a large portion of my life in New York City, I've had to do this once or twice. Like if I park in the wrong place, I've had my cars impounded. If you go to get your car back in New York City, you're usually dealing with snarling dogs and even more snarly people behind the counter who are very abusive, and it's a very intimidating experience trying to get your car. They charge you all kinds of funky money just to get your car back. So I went not really knowing what to expect this morning. We did have to take a taxi back last night because so the worst part of this experience was being online with Santander Bank. I was constantly I was starting at 109 9 minutes, and then I had that. Okay, now you're at 49 minutes. You're 42. 42 seemed to take like a half hour. I was at 42 minutes, and then I did this 3 or 4 times already. I don't, it just went, and that was a very humbling and difficult experience to just sit there. But that's the matrix, and I should have known better. I should have known better. I should have just, but I didn't. I've never been in this. I've never had my car repossessed before, so I didn't really know what to make of it. But the key to the whole thing was find out where your car is. I mean, if I had kept my cool, none of this wouldn't have been such a big deal, because once I found out where it was, we drove there this morning, and the guy said, "Are you here to get your stuff?" I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know we don't have a lot of we our money kind of ebbs and flows from like zero to we get a lot of money, we get some money, and then we have to spend on a bunch of stuff, but like everybody else. So I'm at a low point today. Tomorrow I'll have a little bit of money, but I was worried that I was going to go and it's going to be like just like Brooklyn. He's going to have it's $200. You have to fill out a half a dozen forms. You have to go to collect 5 buttons from a soup can, and then you have to turn around 3 times. I mean, that's the matrix. Like the Matrix was talking to Santander. I said, "Look, man, I want to make a deal with you. I just never got the bill. I'll deal with you." And they're like, "Well, we can't deal with you right now. This is Santander because our systems are down." I'm like, "Well, I need my car, and your systems are down." They're like, "There's nothing we can do about it." I'm like, that's the Matrix. The Matrix. There's nothing you can do about it, but that's why the Matrix is it's we're just going to dance right over it. So we went to this morning. We didn't have our phones. We lost our phone. We had our phones in the car. We don't walk around with our phones so much. And we pulled into this place. There was a doorbell there. I didn't even have a chance to ring the doorbell. They opened the door. They said, "Are you here to get your stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah." They said, "Okay, just pull your truck around here." They were so nice. I had a wonderful conversation with the guy who was in charge of towing my car, and it was just like, he's like, "Do you think you want your car back?" It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I just want my stuff. And he was like, it was just so nice about it. He, Kingman is just it's just like regular folks, man. And I didn't know what to expect, but it was a very pleasant experience. We got our stuff and we drove home. That was it. But yeah, I mean, look, it was my fault. I didn't pursue them. I could have found, I could have figured out. But I really, honestly, I didn't really have the money to make the payments. So I was just like, hey, man, maybe they'll go away. It's a silly point of view, but in my reality, my way of dealing with things is just like, hey man, I mean, what am I worried about? My credit score is gonna go down. It's like I don't even have a credit score. I don't know what my credit score is. I don't care about that stuff. What I do care about is spending 3 or 4 hours on the phone waiting for an hour to pass over so that some person at Santander who doesn't know what's going on, clearly doesn't know and can't really help me. But now I know, you got to find out where your car is. That's all. It's that simple. But we went to Walmart. We went to the Walmart into the Walmart place. I said, "You got a phone, man? I got to call these people. I don't know where my car is." And they're like, "No, we're not going to help you." They were like just out. They were like, I'm like, "You telling me this humongous building, you don't have an office somewhere in the back where I could just sit down for a little while?" They said, "No, this is the only phone they had." And they kicked me off. At one point they just said, "You can't be here anymore." And they literally ran me out of the store. So Walmart is it's just evil. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Will I go back there? Yeah, we'll go back. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've had these kinds of experiences with different. Harbor Freight also gave me a very hard time in the beginning, and I would never go back there. Walmart will only go back if we really have to. But the long and the short of it was really no big deal. It's just like, I had to we had to take a taxi home, which was, I mean, the taxi driver was a pretty nice guy that he was willing to drive on these back roads. He wasn't willing to go all the way home, but yeah. So anyway, I knew I owed the money, and yeah, for real, man. No, I'm not worried. I don't want to entertain this. I'm not going to entertain this kind of. I don't want to entertain fear thought. Um, I just if you believe that, you don't be like me. I'm doing it the way I want to do it, and I'll find out what I need to find out. That's all. I'm not afraid. But and I'm not going to certainly spend any time. Oh my gosh, you're going to take my land. I mean that's bullshit. Whatever. Anyway, I'd rather buy XRP. Right, me too. I'd rather buy XRP. I'm waiting for XRP to moon basically, so I can just pay off my land and move on. Um, but this is we're coming to the end days of the Matrix. The Matrix is falling, and it's going to take people like us to really try to find out where the edges are and find out where the cracks are. So I don't mind doing this, and Danielle is totally on board with me. We're just like we're like I got a speeding ticket. Yeah, I got a speeding ticket, and they told me you can't re-register your car because you won't pay your speeding ticket. I'm like, well, okay, so I won't re-register my car, and then my car gets repossessed anyway. So, what was I going to worry about so much about? My gosh, I don't have registration, and then my car gets repossessed anyway. So, I feel that in my world, in my version of reality, that things unfold in the way that are necessary. I didn't feel like getting the Jeep repossessed was like a terrible experience. It was just like, hey man, it was like God knocking on my door, maybe he was telling me, hey man, you can't really afford two trucks. So okay, that's fine. That's the universe's way of saying, okay, we'll just take it off from you, and it's a good thing. I don't have money to pay $500 a month. I don't have it. So see you later. Let Santander deal with it. Now I got to enjoy the Jeep for about a year, and okay, it's gone now. But that's just the way I approach reality, and it's not for everyone. A lot of people, it, a lot of people still want to pay taxes, even though we all know it's voluntary. A lot of people still want to pay health insurance, even though it's an outrageous scam. A lot of people still want to go to medical doctors and take those medicines, even though they could be really dangerous. A lot of people have no clue of what's going on. Like there's this nice guy was saying about his father. His father is just this. He doesn't know about the information. He doesn't know what's going on. But they're saying, or I saw another. Again, I like to examine the information stream. But I saw another thing that said people hearing about the Somalia scam, they're not going to pay their taxes. Why would you pay your taxes if it's just going to benefit a bunch of illegal immigrants with fake daycare centers? Right. The Jeep is probably worth less than I owe anyway. I mean, I think Santander really blew it because at least they had the potential that I would pay off my things if they had figured out my address, which it doesn't seem like that would be such a hard thing. If they can figure out that I'm driving to Walmart and I'm in the store so they can take my car, certainly they could have done a little bit of research and found out a way to contact me. They said that my phone number was listed as do not call. I'm like, "Ugh, what? You know, if they really wanted to find me, they would have found me. Now the car is a year older. It's got a lot of little nicks and scrapes on it. I mean, we drove it hard, but hey, man, I'm certainly not gonna spend my time trying to negotiate with the Matrix when every time I want to talk to them, I have to wait on the phone for an hour. I'm just like, I don't have time in my life for that kind of thing. It's just the way I run my life. I'm not saying you should, but I just I'm not in a position. I don't have a lot of little kids at home that I'm responsible for. It's just me and Daniela. If we have trouble with the land, we'll deal with it. I mean, if I really wanted to keep the Jeep, I could keep the Jeep. I don't really. I'm not sure. I haven't really made a decision. I don't think I want it. I do. Daniela wants it. She wants it. But anyway, we will deal with it. It will be done. I'd rather buy XRP. Me too. Walmart, the devil's den. Yeah, the people were really quite unpleasant at Walmart. They were not like sympathetic. I'm like, my car is gone. You would think they'd be like, gee, I mean, it really sucks. They were just like, too bad, man, get out of here. The programming is deep. Yeah, but this is really, I guess this is what the topic is going to be for tonight. Is really that the Matrix is just the Matrix. It's fake. I'm going to worry about, like, I didn't pay my health insurance this month. People are going to pull their hair out because they can't afford their health insurance. When we've found time and time again, if you go to the doctor and you say I don't have insurance, they have another price for you. They charge the insurance company. If you have insurance, they charge one price. And if you don't have insurance, they charge another price. It's a scam. The whole Matrix is a scam. But if you believe in it, if you believe that you like this creep, this, I don't know if this guy was a robot or a bot, but he said, you're going to lose your land. I'm like, I don't even want to think that bullshit. Why should I spend 1 millisecond of my life in fear? If I'm not paying my mortgage right now, okay, are they going to come and repossess it? If they do, I'll deal with it. I'm just like, I'm not going to bow down to the Matrix. I'm not going to live my life, feeding the beast. It's just not. I don't know. I feel like I have better things to do, but that's anyway. I haven't paid car payments since 2021. Yeah, so there are other people who do the same thing. I mean, they just caught me. They caught us. We just weren't. We let our guard down. I thought, well, let's just go into Walmart. If we had known, we would have had our phones with us. We would have been able to make some calls. We would have been able to fix it. But we were caught without our phones. So next, but so the other truck I just paid for. I don't have payments. I just paid for it. I had silver back then and I just bought it. So it's a very good truck. It's a big old truck. It's not a sexy little, Jeep that you can go worming your way up the mountains. It's a big old Ford, and it does the job. We don't go to town as much as we used to anyway, because we're more and more comfortable up here. But the programming is deep. Yeah, that's for sure. And the only way we're going to get rid of these beasts, in my opinion, is to examine it on a personal level. We're all waiting for the big announcement. The Matrix is gone. XRP is going to the moon. Silver is going to the moon. Gold's going to the moon. We're all gonna get our funds from the birth certificates and all this. I don't feel like waiting. I don't want to be, I'm not waiting to be saved. And I think that's the key to a really good life, is that you're like, okay, man, I'll deal with it. I was waiting for all this money to come from all these lawsuits and all these things because I'm right. The world doesn't necessarily work that way yet. It will. I think it will soon, very soon. But I've been feeling very soon. For the last 2 years that we got here, we were waiting for the Matrix to be broken, but we're not waiting. That's me. That for me, that's the key. Do not wait. Just do what you have to do. Move on. I'm not waiting for Mashiach. I'm not waiting for the Messiah. I'm not waiting for Jesus or the Mahdi or even Donald Trump to come and save me. I'm not interested. I mean, there was a nice guy on the channel said, "Let me. I have a friend who'll come and help you with the roof." I don't want help with the roof. I want to build it myself. I want to live my life the way I want to live my life. I don't. If I get pulled over for a traffic ticket, I'm just like, I'm not paying for it. I didn't. I think there was something I saw that says they don't have the right to do that unless you're endangering someone. If I'm just like, I'm going 5 miles past the speed limit, and this guy pulls me over and just writes me a ticket, I'm like, screw you, man. I'm not paying that ticket. And okay, so I can't get my registration, so you repossess the car anyway. I feel like that the universal flow takes care of us, and it has time and time again. So I don't sweat the details. I don't think, oh my gosh, if I don't do this, if I don't do that, it's all over. I'm like, it's all over anyway for me. I'm not interested in that aspect of reality. I'm building a house in the desert. If the mortgage company wants to, I'll deal with it. I'm not worried. Hopefully by that time XRP will have gone to the moon, or the dinars, or something will happen, or the mortgage people will understand that mortgages are illegal to begin with. That's just how I look at it. And we're living a very high quality life. Once in a while we have to spend a day, like yesterday I had to spend hours listening to a recording say 49 minutes. We will pick up, someone's going to pick up in 49 minutes. And I'm just like, I volunteered for that stupidity because I wasn't prepared or whatever. But I found a nice way around it too. We went to the car dealer. We asked them, could we have a little back room with a phone so we can deal with this? And they said, yeah, go. We'll be here till 8 o'clock. They were like, no problem. So Daniela and I sat down and we listened to this tape recording, and we got some snacks, and we spent the time nicely. It wasn't a painful time. It wasn't ideal, but we got through it. And everything was fine. We had the money to pay the taxi driver. We got up back to our house. We had a nice meal together. Our life is we have our own structure to it. And it involves, we spend a lot of time preparing meals because we don't buy anything that's prepared. We use the fire outside for, in general, if the wind isn't too bad. Well wet are much more important than cheap. Yeah, and the way yeah, and having a well is much more important than a Jeep. 100%. 100,000%. And eventually we'll have the house. I'm thinking about starting the roof. So we're heading the right direction. We're going to build a little well house. We're positioning the water storage tank. We're going to eventually buy like a pump to pump it into the plumbing thing. Hopefully by then we'll have the RV figured out. Are we living in the RV? Or are we not? But it's it's unfolding. I believe that it's unfolding, and that if you see everything as a blessing, like I didn't say, damn, oh my God, my car's been repossessed. And I was like, I just thought to myself, there's got to be some beautiful thing in this. This wouldn't be happening to us. And maybe the beautiful thing is that I don't have to pay $500 a month to rent this fancy car that I can't really afford anyway. It was just like, okay, man, you had it for a year. It was a good thing. It made your life comfortable, but now you're a little more settled. You know the land. You got your house halfway built, and you don't need it. I don't, that's the way I live life. I live life with the idea that whatever I need is going to be there, and it's all good. Even when it seems bad, it's even more good. I mean, it's like, okay, man, you want the car? See you later. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, the best thing is to be your own boss. Don't let others scam you. Right. Yeah, and do not let people scam you. And I will. Yeah. Again, I said it last night, but it bears repeating. Do not. No, I will never reach out to you and offer you a crypto deal. Those are scammers. Coinbase will never reach out to you and say, you just got scammed. Give me your number so I can fix it. Those are scammers, man. There's no, and signing up for the QFS, that's another big scam. Getting ready for the RV. I mean, I still criticize these YouTubers who have been telling people about the RV all these years, because really, someone's going to call you and say, you're a bondholder and we want to give you top dollar for your humanitarian project. Could be, but maybe not. But my problem with that whole line of thinking, and I'm not saying that I'm not wait. I've been waiting for years for XRP to go to the moon. Years, probably, a long time. But the mindset that in my opinion that I want to have is, this is my life. I'm 70 years old. I got a pension. I lost my job because I didn't want to get vaxxed, but I still got a pension. I got a little social security, and I want to live it the way I want to live it. And I don't want to spend time on hold on the phone with choice, deciding between choice number 3 and number 4. That's the matrix. I don't want to deal with that. That's why I'm very proud that, and I think LifeWave really fits into this very well for me. I didn't think to myself, I really want to be a LifeWave distributor, but it just picked me. It unfolded naturally. I had other network marketing things. I was trying to make a living. I was trying to make a living on YouTube. They're still deciding whether or not I'm YouTube ready. I mean, it's like, well, screw you, man. I'm not dependent on you. I'm not dependent on YouTube. I don't need them. I can make money on LifeWave, and LifeWave is a product that I really believe in. This is, in my opinion, and so we are pursuing LifeWave. We are sharing LifeWave. We are encouraging others to join us in this business thing, because we don't want to be in the matrix ever. Even for an hour of my life wasted waiting on the phone for them to talk to me, and somebody who really doesn't know anything about fixing the problem. They just have somebody on the phone to make it seem, but some people can handle that. I'm just not interested. Maybe I'm too, I'm whatever. But okay, but so LifeWave came along, and I'm like, okay, man, you know what? YouTube's not going to support me. X is not going to support me. Support me. I mean, I'm working hard. I make videos every day. Most people, not many people could do that. But for some reason, I have this skill, probably from being a school teacher for 20 years, having to, being in front of a bunch of thugs that wouldn't think twice about, and just getting over with them, and being, I'm not saying you guys are thugs or anything like that, but anyway, it's the unfolding of reality, and it's our creation. It's not for other people. It's not for other forces. It's certainly not for the matrix that's going to tell me, you have to make your car payment on time. I'm like, well, send me a bill. You send me a bill, I'll pay it. I'll figure out a way to pay it. They never sent me a bill. I'm just like, I'm not going to chase them down. I'm going to spend my hours on the phone trying to convince them of what my real address is, and then they might accept it, because my real address is a post office box anyway. They'll probably say, well, we're not going to let you. I'm like, forget it. Anyway, yeah. So LifeWave is trash, right? It's a con job, right? I love that, man. You're so good to me. I love that you're willing to just expose yourself right away without any hesitation. I love it when bots tell me I'm a bot. Everything you do is wrong. You're an idiot. You're or they had one that was fart 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 fart. I mean, this is the best they can do. That's it. Anyway, yeah. So okay, so the bots aside, I think LifeWave is a great product. So I didn't, I had these other things that I was trying and they just didn't work out. So that's what I call living with the divine providence, that this is what Hashem, this is what is you need to do. You need to pay attention. And if the Jeep goes away, the Jeep goes away. I'm sure there's going to be better vehicles in the future. I've no doubt. Anyway, trolls. Yeah, there are a lot of trolls. So hey Park, hey Grant. I'm going to call you Grant soon. We'll have it. So hopefully, I don't know what your holiday schedule is, but Norman and I want to get together. We'll just do a short, like 15-minute thing. But this is what I can offer people. If you want to do the business with me, I like to be online. I like to be an influencer of myself and others. And if you want to pursue this as a business and you really like the product, there are a lot of people that it's changing their lives. It's changed my life. I was on with Dr. Stacy today, and I figured out another thing that the Lifeway product did for me. I said to Dr. Stacy, I said, I never really thought of it, but I can stand on one foot again. What in my 60s, I could not stand and put on my socks. I had to sit down because I couldn't balance on one foot. I said, now I can balance on one foot. She says, that's because you're you're becoming younger. You're extending your lifetime, and that's a very good sign of that ability. The fact that at 70 years old now I can stand on one foot again. I went for here's another thing. Yeah, life was a game changer for me. I think so. It's a game changer for me. It's totally improved my life, my health wise. So I encourage everyone to try it. It's not a quick fix. Daniela feels them right away, and I sometimes can feel the patches right away when I put on. But it's not a big thing. It's not like a rush from a drug. It's just a very, very subtle change. But over time, I'm 70 years old. I'm building a house in the desert, man. I mean, it. I do I have aches and pains? Yeah, but when I put on X39 and X49, it makes it bearable. I still feel that I know where the pain would be. It's not like the aches and pains have gone away completely. I need to try Eon. Eon takes away inflammation, but I haven't tried Eon much. But the patches, there's all kinds of cool patches, and I think they're a life changer for anyone who's been victimized by traditional medicine. This is the next step. Well, let me just play a quick clip, and then we'll get back to my ranting about the Matrix. Wow, that's weird. Where did it go? Um, huh. Home. Let's try this. Yeah, I think this is it. Oh no. Okay, I have to be careful. Let's see if I can stop sharing. Yeah, okay, I can stop sharing. I'm not even going there. I was going to play a video, but it it doesn't seem. I'm not going to press the wrong button again. Haven't seen you in years. Thank you. Six Fairy Lights. I'm so glad to have you back. I mean, I had 60,000 people, and then YouTube decided, well, he's no good. He's too this or too that. I'm like, you know, but but I could have taken that as okay, it's over, my career is over, but I decided no, I'm just going to stick with it. And now I'm starting to make at least at least we're eating, at least we're able to pay for a taxi when we're in a bad situation, right? Because of LifeWave, not because of my pension or anything like that. Um Ellie, yeah, oh great. I love it, man. You're great. You're brilliant. You're really brilliant that you would you would expose yourself. The bots are like they're so low level these days. I used to have good bots, man. You know, I mean, I've told many times that my son said when I first made my first video and went public with starting make videos like 9 years ago, he said, "You'll know you're successful when you get some people that don't like you." Anyway, did he get it from a buy here, pay here a lot? I will share your testimony with those who want to hear. I can't believe it. Yeah. Okay. So don't worry, Ellie. Your channel is much better than watching all the fake news. Everything. Thanks, Walter. I appreciate it. But yeah, listen, man. This is what I do. I came to tonight. I started this video. Usually, I have like a clear thing, like do this tonight. I didn't get anything tonight, and I said, well, I'll just go. This is what I do, and the words just come into my mouth. But I don't want to be victimized by the matrix. I don't want to spend time on the phone waiting online. I don't want to spend time tossing and turning at night because I didn't pay a bill. It's just like, hey man, I don't have the money. You took away all my jobs. You screwed me on YouTube. You screwed me in the Department of Education, and now you made me to squirm and dish out, and give you what little I have back to you. I mean, screw you. I'm not paying taxes. I'm not paying insurance. I'm not. I didn't want to pay my car payment. I thought they, if they had sent it to me, the bill, I would have done it. Same thing happened with the mortgage. The mortgage company, we had a deal. It was working. My bank came in. I was every time they would charge me, I would go in the red, and then my pension would come in and pay for it. And that went on for months and months and months. And I paid off most of my mortgage. And then one day, my bank said, "We're not doing that anymore. We're rejecting this." So I said, "Okay, well, I'm not going to sweat." And they said, "You need to you need to give us this kind of check and that." I'm like, "I'm not doing that." I'm like, I'll pay you when I get the money. I'll let you know." Are they going to repossess my land? I don't know. Do people really? I mean, are people knocking at the door to buy my property? I don't think so. Now that it has a well, maybe they are. But anyway, um, I love Eon. Yeah, Eon. I have to try that. Grant says he loves Eon. You saw that? I like Eon. Sheila, do we ever try it? I have. You have. Okay, so Daniela's tried it. Yeah, it's supposed to be a really good patch. It fights inflammation and it gets to the root of the inflammation. Unlike Ice Wave, which deals with pain, but it doesn't really deal with root causes. All your DNA gets reset. I'm sorry, I had this really good video, but I'm not going to look it up because I know it'll knock me off the channel. But yeah, okay. So glad I found this channel. Hey, Serenity, I'm going to get serious with LifeWave, but can't get started for another 10 days. That's fine. Serenity, I'll be looking out for you, man. You'll come online with us. We'll all go online and we'll share this product. We'll make a living. We'll make a living outside the matrix. You'll be able to, like I think we're close. Danielle and I are close to winning a free trip to Hawaii. All my brothers and sisters that join us in this effort, we'll all meet in Hawaii or in France, or where Dr. Stacy's always traveling around. It's a great bunch of people. We went to a LifeWave, like a boot camp they had. We had a great meal. We met a bunch of nice people. We stayed in a pretty cool hotel. We had a good time. I don't mind hanging out. That's the kind of business and that's the kind of community I want to hang out with, because they're interested in helping others, and they're interested in making a living, and there's nothing wrong with making a living. And but they're, I don't want to be saved. I want to lead my life the way I want to lead my life. I want to make my own mistakes in my house. I have a very clear idea of the kind of house I'm trying to build. And I'm in no rush. We want to get it done, but we made tremendous progress in a very short time without really getting crazy about it. Get some for your daughter. Yeah, I mean the kids, and especially if they've had any issues with the medical treatments, it resets your stem cells, and apparently there's a kind of a cascading effect from resetting your stem cells. Once the DNA starts to reset, it spreads. It has a cascading effect on the other DNA molecules. Would they be called molecules? I don't think so. But like the structure of the DNA, it's much bigger than a molecule. You're dealing with amino acids, which are humongous. I'm a like a high school chemistry teacher, so I'm used to dealing with atoms and molecules and compounds. That's like teeny tiny compared to amino acids and DNA. It's a whole nother kind of universe. Well, thank you, Judy. I appreciate you saying that. You know why I get it right, because I'm not really involved. I don't really have like an axe to grind. I don't. It's kind of like I'm able to be. I think this is what it is. It could be something else, but I want other people to do this too. I don't think I'm the only one. I've been saying this for years, and we tried years ago with another friend. We tried, but the community could not relate to him well. But I still want. I want people to get online. I want you guys to be sharing, because you are the one. You are Neo. You can say things in ways that I can't say it. But I think the key is, I mean, you would say the way one might say it in a more like, I don't know, I don't, it creeps me out. But basically, what one could say is like, I don't have a big ego about what I do. I just do it. But even if you say, oh, it's ego, when you start using words like that, it has no, it just destroys the real concrete meaning of it. But for me, it just means that, like, it's just, I'm just like kind of like sort of open to being stupid, to making mistakes, to losing my car in town. I mean, I don't, I'm comfortable enough with myself. I respect like myself enough to say, like, I make mistakes. I lose my temper. I do stupid stuff. But generally, it's just like, I'm 70 years old, man. I've been through everything like you guys. And it's just like, if somebody doesn't like it, is it gonna really hurt my feelings? Probably not. These bots, I mean, they try, but they're not very effective. But I have three sisters who are interested. Great, man. I mean, come, let's form a business. We'll meet. We'll get to hang out together in Hawaii. I mean, that's the kind of hanging out I want to do. Where we're all making a nice living. We're sharing a technology that's really important to the world. That's my kind of hanging out. I don't like to just sit around and chat with people. It just doesn't, other than I love to just get to know. I love to find out somebody's name and just a little bit about them. I really enjoy just getting to meet people and know. Yeah, I always ask their name right away, because when you know someone's name, you have a real relationship with them. That's kind of biblical, and I don't want to go into the whole story, but it was taught to me by a rabbi. We all make mistakes. Yeah, you're older than me, yeah, and but it's okay. I'm not. In the old days, when I made a mistake, I would get lost in the shame of it for weeks. Weeks. If I said something wrong, and I felt, and it was even slightly embarrassing in some weird kind of way, probably the other person had no idea what I said. But I was so self conscious in the old days that I would feel shame for a long time. Now, when I feel the feeling of shame, I think to myself, wait a minute, am I dealing with a narcissist? Because 9 times out of 10, when somebody makes me feel ashamed, it's because they're a narcissist. That's what they do. So if you're with somebody and you come away and you feel, man, never should have said that. That is, to me, that's ding 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 ding, narcissist. Don't even think about it, Ellie. Forget about it. And usually it takes me a couple days. If you're dealing with a narcissist, they will put you into a shame headlock, and it will last for me. It could last a couple of days, and then I'm just like, well, this. When I realize, oh, I was just, I was just attacked by a narcissist, and they put me into a shame headlock. Once I realize, usually when I realize it, I'm just like, come on, Ellie, forget it. You just don't deal with them ever again. I mean, that's how I do it. And that's how I know if somebody makes me feel really uncomfortable in that way, what makes me feel like something said wrong, something I said they put me in a shame headlock. I'm just like, well, now I'm at the stage and I'm just like, oh, a narcissist. Just forget about it. There's no way in hell you're going to change it. You're going to make it better. You're going to make it up to them. I think that was something I saw a post about how, that's the way the Democrats work. They want to get, it was Nick Sorter. Yeah, maybe let's see if I can find that post because it was really good. Let's just try this. Okay. Let's see if I can find this. It was here it is. Okay. Here's the list of the news outlets that have not covered the Nick Shirley. It's Nick Shirley fraud story. Okay, but there was another thing where Nick Shirley said, or there was a story that said that the reason people don't criticize the Somalis is because they don't want to be considered a racist. Well, Nick Shirley says that time of being called a Nazi or a racist, it doesn't work anymore. It's just, and that's what I mean about like narcissistic, an attack from a narcissist. And that's why Trump is so brilliant. He's been able to deflect that kind of attitude. Oh, you're a Nazi. You're a racist. Why am I racist? You're attacking a black man. I'm attacking a black man because these Somali people did disgusting things to us. They ripped us off blindly. I mean, most people work really hard for their money when they pay taxes. They don't want to know that it's going to fund some amoral Somali pirate who's living the high life. There were some great clips on that, but that kind of attack, which is what the Democrats did. When I was a public school teacher, man, I mean, I had to watch everything I said. And sometimes something would slip out. Like the time I said, they were saying Obama is the first black president. And I said, he's black? I said, well, what does that mean? And that was like, what? What did you say? Mr. Weber, and they go running to the principal, and I get another letter in my file, and whatever. It's just the way life is. We all make mistakes. Yeah. Um, it's uplifting to get rid of toxic people. If you identify somebody, if you realize that somebody, every time you talk to them, you feel shame, don't talk to them. Get them out of your life, whatever you have to do. I've had to do that to a few people. They're just like, I every time I talk to you, I feel shame for days. And then I put it together. That's a narcissist. Don't talk to them ever. So yeah. Um hey Richard Deitch, is it Deitch? Richard Esch. It's upload. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So, but the days of these kind of accusations is long gone. Anyway, I survived losing my Jeep, even though Danielle is not totally happy. I'm just like, hey man, it's that's just probably something that needed to go. I don't want to have issues like that, and I certainly can't make the car payments. So I paid a bunch of cash up front, and I got to drive around in a fancy Jeep for a year, and we're more comfortable with being up here now, and the big old truck is not so bad. That's the way I move forward. I don't try to think about it. I don't try to, like, figure things out anymore. I don't waste time with that. And I certainly don't want to waste time on hold with, finally after 3 hours getting to talk to Victoria, and Victoria's like, "Well, there's nothing I can do." I'm like, "Well, I waited for 3 hours for you to tell me that there's oh, and my system's down." Your system's down? I waited for 3 hours and your system's down, and by then the place was closed anyway. If I had had the wherewithal, now I'll know. Where's my car? Go down there. If when we lost the car, if we had figured out, oh, it's Joe's, hauling company, we would have just gone there, got our stuff, and gone home. So it's a big victory for me. So now I would know how to deal with these kinds of situations. So I don't have to sit at the car dealer for 3 hours on hold. $27,000, happy for you. Yeah, that's what they want. They want me to pay $27,000. I'm just like, you think I have $27,000 in my back pocket? I don't know. Anyway, it's happy you're back because you give us the right truth on everything. Well, thank you, Judy. I really appreciate that. Um, Listen, I don't know how I do what I do. I don't take personal credit for it. I don't like, wow, I'm so smart or anything like that. It's just that like I think I position myself, and I hate that thing. Oh, he has no ego. I mean, that in itself is like such an egotistic thing to say, right? Oh, I have no ego. I'm like a high dude. Screw that, man. I wouldn't say that. I do have an ego, but I'm somehow able, when I sit down in front of a microphone and a camera, I'm somehow able to kind of suspend my own personal interest. I wouldn't say I'm egoless in any way, but I'm not. I would never say, like, well, I'm like, a highly developed, ascended man. That's just totally not me at all. And I don't know, I guess there are people who do that. It's just not me. I don't think that's why I do this. I think I do it because maybe I really realize that I'm not so important in some way. But I want to pass that on. I want you guys to do it too. Interest rates are unjust, so don't blame me for not wanting to pay. But yeah, we can do better things with the money, man. I mean, much better things. Like Walter says, invest in XRP. I wish I had. Yeah, more money for XRP. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I could buy some silver. The copper. The people I ordered some more copper. They're backlogged or whatever. But I think this is a good time to buy copper. I think you should. I don't want. I would like to own a lot of silver. If the dinars came in, I would run down and buy a bunch of silver. But I think now I would buy a bunch of copper, because I think when you buy something really low and it goes high, you'll make more percentage wise. That's why I bought XLM XRP back in the day when they were not. It was not $2. It was mostly like XRP was around 40 cents when I bought a massive amount of it, but I got scammed. That's just it's just the way life works. You think you know it all, and you do this and you buy that, and it's like everything is secure. Nothing is secure. I saw a post today. There was a guy who said he bought a bar, 100 ounces of silver. I don't know if it's somebody on this channel, but he said he bought 100 ounces of silver, and now he doesn't know what to do with it. He's afraid to leave it at home because somebody's going to steal it. He's afraid to put it in a safe because and this is what you go through. I left New York with literally a suitcase that was so heavy I literally could not pick it up. It was so full of silver, and I spent it, and now I don't have to worry about it. So there are upsides to things and downsides. It's not so simple that, okay, I'm rich now, everything is okay. Well, if let's say you had a bunch of silver, you had hundreds of pounds of silver or hundreds of ounces or whatever, it's heavy as hell. You want to leave it in a safe, you could, but somebody could break in your house and hurt you and tell you you have to open the safe. This you're not this Nothing is secure. It's all the journey. It's the journey towards the light. It's the journey of it's the fool's journey, really, at the end of the day. I mean, the highest tarot card is the magus, the magician, the fool. He's the highest level of anything. Is just like to be able to laugh at yourself and just be, like in the Peter Sellers movie Being There. I'm Chance the gardener. He was just like he was he's like, well, I like to watch. I mean, he would just say things and people were like, wow, man, this guy's um but being a bit of a fool and not taking yourself so seriously is probably, and I'm not 100% good with that either. I'm telling you that because I'm really telling myself, Ellie, relax a little bit, because I can get very uptight and take myself seriously. We all do. That's the thing. I think it's to accept yourself. When I say at the end, you are the one, I mean that. You are the one. It doesn't matter if you have problems. It doesn't matter if you have issues. It doesn't matter. That's part of you. That's what makes you so special, is those issues that you're working through. We're not I'm not saying we're all ascended masters and let's just go into nirvana land. That to me that's not the game here. The game is to recognize we're perfectly imperfect, and it's okay. Just knowing that, it's like, yeah, okay, man, I'm not perfect, I got issues. I say stupid stuff sometimes, and it's okay. That's who I am. But it makes me who I am. Anyway, treasure is useless if we can't protect it. The Pearl by John Samick. Yeah. So I'm running around with like 100-pound suitcase of silver. So in essence, the fact that I don't have any silver now is kind of like freeing. It could be, you could look at it that way. I mean, I wish I had been able to keep some of my silver so I would, have like a little bit of savings, but it didn't work out that way. It's fine. I got some land. Anyway, it's all good. I hope I haven't been too off the news tonight. I mean, I really didn't see anything. It seems like everything is happening and nothing can stop what's coming. Did I go too long, baby? She doesn't know. Okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, we'll call it a day. Check out the LifeWave patches. It makes me feel like to be able to make a living doing this is very inspiring. I want to share that with you. I want you guys to make a living. I want you to be able to share this. So, join. Let's do it, man. I'll help you if you decide you want to do this. We'll get online. We'll share your website number. Once you sign up, that's you can share with others using your website, and they sign up under you, and you could help them. You could tutor them in finding a way, and I'm sure it's going to be different for everyone. You all have different communities, you have different skills, but you can reach people that wouldn't, just probably wouldn't talk to me. It's all the beauty of real diversity. We're in unknown territory. Yeah, boldly going where no man has gone before. Security is priceless. Yeah, it's been fun, but I got to run. Yeah, okay. So let's let me play New morning. It's a new morning. And this, this song was written when I was completely lost, and I woke up on the front porch of a beautiful woman's house with Sparky Brown, my guru, and Sheila, and this song kind of worked out of that. But it's a new morning, it's a new day, and we are sovereign. It is our world. Nobody can take that away from you. And if you have too much silver, okay, so you'll trade it for XRP. XRP is a lot lighter. Okay, anyway, here we go. Waking up on the front porch, Sunday at dawn. The night was hotter than hell and forever long. I can see the first light breaking through the trees. I feel the changes in the cool breeze of freedom. Freedom. And it's a new morning. It's a new morning. We never saw it coming, hiding in plain sight. Banksters taking power, stealing our lives. They were looking to bury us in debt, shame and fear. But our roots grew stronger as we reached into the air with freedom. Freedom. And it's a new morning. It's a new with each day we're rising up in this world with the power of love, with the power of peace, the power of joy, the power of truth, and the power of It's a new morning. It's a new morning. It's a new Yeah, it's a new morning. It's a new day. And, we're boldly going where no man has gone before, but we're coming free. We're being free of this ridiculous matrix with all their rules and regulations. It's over. It's done. We're out. So may the force be with you. May you realize that you are the force, Chow. May Source be with you. May you realize you're a creative force. You are Neo itself. You are the one. You are the only one who can save the world in your way. And you may think, oh yeah, but I'm not this and I'm not that. Screw it, man. You're perfectly imperfect, like all of us, and it's great. And we're all going together, man. We're all going to this party together. So let's get out there with a big smile on our face. God willing, I'll see you tomorrow.